So now that we have practiced our shading value scales, we have a base reference for the next step, which is understanding lighting. Before we begin shading, we need to understand how light hits an object. Light shows us form, and the way that it hits an object determines the light and shadows that it will produce. I recommend using a lamp to set the lighting right over the object. Starting with a simple sphere or apple is perfect. Now ask yourself, where is the light coming from? Where is the shadow? Do I see any other values present in this object? Take a second to think about this before you begin shading. Now let's talk about how light actually creates the form. To help us best see, we can actually break them down into a light group and a shadow group. Since the light is coming from the top right, we can easily tell them apart. When we observe the object, we can clearly see the highlight sitting right at the very top where the light hits it the most. Right around it, we have something called the central light, which is the area that faces directly towards the light source. Since our object is covering the bottom, that is what creates our shadows, there is minimal light hitting that part of the surface. Therefore, it creates the darkest shadows, and over here is the form shadow. There are a few terms to remember, and it's super important to understand them before you begin shading. Remember, it's all about the light. Now that we have discussed lighting, let's talk about step number 3, which will include shading techniques of basic forms. Let's start drawing a circle with your very light hand from your shoulder. It will help you build the form easier. Make sure you include the table line because that is part of your composition. Placing your object in front of you under a light really gives you the true values, but you can draw realistically from a photo as well. So now I'm going back to our grayscale shading. I like to place it beside of me to ensure that I have all of my values present in my drawing. I really like to give some secret tips to shading. Now these are the 5 tips to succeed. First, focus on understanding fundamentals such as value, contrast, shading, blending, highlights, shadow. Second, critique your own work, identifying what you want to improve for next time in order to keep improving. You can also ask someone else to critique your work. Third, be patient with your drawing and build it up as slow as you can. Take your time. Fourth, use a reference photo. Fifth, before adding all of the shading, the drawing has to be really accurate. The shape, the proportions. Think about some goals for yourself so that you can achieve them and improve your art skills. Draw other basic forms such as a cube, a cylinder, or a pyramid, making sure that all your values are present in your drawing. So guys, when you understand light and apply them to your drawings become successful. I hope you found it helpful, and let's get started.